Let's take a look at Tuesday in the NBA, previewing the games, who's in and who's out, what streaming options we have. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and stay tuned at the end of the show. I'm going to announce the release date for GTA 6. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Also, go to LockedOnDaily.com and get the best NBA newsletter for your favorite team. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Check out the live trade deadline show, which I've got coming up on February the 6th, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go check that out and pre-bang and bookmark it. Subscribe to the channel. All that stuff is a great help. We're previewing January the 14th, Tuesday, January the 14th. Also, in history, this date has been celebrated as the Feast of the Ass. Feast of the Ass. Not on, of. Feast of the Ass. I don't know why I'm saying ass like I'm American. Ass. Ass. Whatever. Feast of the Ass. That's what it is on January the 14th. Let's talk games. It's a mild schedule. 7 games is an interesting amount for us to talk about, and that's exactly what we're going to do. The first one of these games is Cleveland and Indiana, and we got the news that is sort of the news, and we wish we had more news on it, but it's about Tyrese Haliburton and the hamstring. We'll talk about that in a sec. The Cavs are 7-point favorites here. Ty Jerome, questionable for this one with an illness. The big thing there is that Haliburton is officially listed doubtful. There's no chance he's playing. I'm so sorry to tell these guys. He won't play. I don't know why they're not listing him out. I don't know why they're annoying me. We'll see how early they decide to bring him back. There's no shot that he's playing in this game. Aaron Nesmith is also on the sidelines. This is a revenge game situation for Caris LeVert. Also, Tristan Thompson. Just kept an eye on that one. Max Strus is what I want to watch on the Cavs side of things, because they announced that he was starting before the last game, and then they reversed course and went back to Dean Wade. I don't think that Strus is a 12-team must. He's a streamy level player, and he also struggled in that last game as well. He can hit some threes, he gets some weird out-of-position assists, but there's just not enough for me to look at him as a 12-team guy. For Indiana, I want to see what the impact of Haliburton being out here is going to have on Benedict Mathurin, who had a really hot start to the season and has cooled back off to become more like Benedict Mathurin, and I just need to see what we're doing with him. I don't think he's a 12-team guy, but if I've got him, and Haliburton's now out, I would hold just to see what happens. In terms of stream guys, the Cavs is probably LeVert. It could be Strus. It could be Merrill. It could be Wade. There's a lot of different options they can go with. On the Pacers, it's pretty clearly Andrew Nembhard with TJ McConnell just behind him, even though I do think that Ben Shepherd is going to be the guy that starts and not TJ McConnell. But Nembhard and TJ will be guys to add. Remembering, when Haliburton went down last season, Nembhard did nothing. Like, he was not good at all. He might be good this time, but he was not good in that role last season. He had some good playoff games, but in the regular season, he was not good. So just also remember that part of it. If we look to the next game up, it is the Thunder taking on the Philadelphia 76ers in Philadelphia. Both teams are in a schedule plus position here. We know that there's no Chet. I'm going to assume that there's no Alex Caruso or Kyle Lowry or KJ Martin. And we also got the news that both Andre Drummond and Joel Embiid are ruled out again. It's 5 in a row for both of those guys. Yikes. Caleb Martin is officially questionable as well. Aaron Wiggins has put together 2 or 3 good games recently with the absences of Caruso still. Like, is he a guy that we consider? Probably not. But he's in that Isaiah Joe level of player who had big numbers earlier in the season, Wiggins, and they fell down. He played like 6 minutes a game for a few games, and now it's pushed back up. So he's streamable there. And then on the Sixers, Paul George has started to turn it around a little bit. I want to see how much they play him at center, because they barely played him at all this season until like the last game or two, and see what they do with him there. But has he started to like fit in and figure it out. In terms of stream guys, the Hong Kong Matchos Cason Wallace is the guy on the Thunder we look to. And then on the Sixers, it is Gershon Yabusele. And now that Embiid and Drummond are both out, Yabusele's minutes are going to go through the roof. Now, he hasn't succeeded in every game, but he's at least in the streamable list because those players are officially now out of action. The third game, it's Atlanta. It is the Phoenix Suns in Atlanta. The schedule play here, I don't think I even mentioned who the... what's his name? The revenge games were. Paul George is the massive revenge game in that previous one, by the way. In terms of who's out, Nurkic is out for the Suns with the flu. Grayson Allen is listed as probable. So he left last game with the knee soreness. Looks like he's going to be available. Jalen Johnson is out. And I know people are really panicking about this. I've already seen multiple places pick up, man, is he out for the season? No, he's not. But it's not great that he's still out and we don't. The update's like not giving us a huge amount. They're saying shoulder inflammation. I wish we'd get more info on it, but I don't think we need to jump to worst case scenario there. Bogdan Bogdanovic is officially questionable now, and Trae Young's actually been downgraded to questionable. He was probable the last time they were supposed to play, and then it got cancelled, and now he's questionable. I don't think there's much risk of Trae missing, but of course we have to pay attention to it. David Roddy in the revenge game spot here. And on the Suns, what I want to watch is Oso Ighodaro. He started the last game, or the second half of the last game instead of Mason Plumlee. He outperformed Mason Plumlee. Will they just lean into that, or will Budenholzer go back to Plumlee in 20 minutes of Ighodaro? Don't know. That's what we want to watch. And then on the Hawks, it's about the Okongwu-Capella mix, and I don't expect anything to change. I just don't. In terms of stream guys, Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen are probably the two Phoenix guys that we look at. Ighodaro, while it would be good if he started, he doesn't have the best fantasy profile, so I'm not looking at him as an absolutely elite sort of an option, but deeper leagues, we want to get into that. And then on the Hawks, we are looking at Zachary Ricochet as a stream option. The next game, New Orleans, Chicago. In Chicago, both teams schedule plus as well. Herb Jones is going to be out. Brandon Ingram's out. Ayo Dosunmu's out. Torrey Craig is out. We don't have an update yet on Kobe White, which will impact quite a bit. He missed the last game. We'll see whether he's available. This is a revenge game for a lot of players, man. Javonte Green, Daniel Tice, Lonzo Ball, and the big fella, EJ Liddell, all in revenge game spots. Zion Williamson's what I want to watch on the Pelicans. What do his minutes look like? 'Cause he's played 28 in the 2 games since he's returned. He shot horribly in the last one. The steals have been way up. Does he play? I assume he does. And how does he look? And where does the usage go? And how does it all fit in? And what does that then mean for Yves Missi too? On the Bulls, Patrick Williams had a better game last time out. I don't care. I'm not adding him outside of the one-day stream sort of scenario, but he did play better. In terms of stream guys, Yves Missi's been dropped in spots. Understandable, but now he's under the 40% rostered mark, so he's available to stream in a lot more spots. And then Lonzo Ball could have another big opportunity, especially if Kobe White is out. So with the Sumo out, we like Ball as a 23-minute player. If White is out, then we go even higher. And I do want to address something because, again, I think part of playing the fantasy game and being on board with it is media literacy, right? And understanding the way things are presented or what they mean and how they're done. Because Shams Charania had a tweet talking about the Ball brothers. LaMelo Ball leading the All-Star game in votes. True. Fantastic. Well done. LiAngelo Ball signing this music contract worth whatever it was, $10 million. Fantastic. People are loving that song. No worries. And then he also said, yeah, and Lonzo Ball's reclaimed a starting spot after being sidelined for 2 years with injuries, which, sure, but that tweet and that reporting suggests, if you read it a certain way, that Lonzo is now a permanent starter. He's grabbed that starting spot back and he's ready to go. And I'm not saying that he won't be a starter at some point. I don't think he will, but I'm not saying he won't. But that's not what happened. He started because Dosunmu and White were both out, and he made a spot start. And there is no guarantee that even in this next game that he starts if White plays. So just be very cautious about reading things like that. Not to say that it won't happen, but that suggests that it has happened and that Ball is now installed as the Bull starter from here on out. And that is not what has happened. So having that level of literacy around media and what is said, I think is really important. We'll come back, talk about more of the games in a sec. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Wayfair. As the New Year period is done, Christmas and holidays are sort of settled, but sometimes it's a good time to do some TLC on your home and refresh and declutter your space. So whether you're tidying up, you're clearing out, or you just want to give your space a new look, Wayfair has everything that you need and it's all within your budget. So when you're looking to get some new furniture in, find the things that fit your style and fit your budget, and it's the free delivery, the hassle-free delivery, even for the larger items, that makes Wayfair so good. The site is easy to navigate and everything that you need is easy to find. So whatever you're looking for your house, whatever sort of style options you have, you can find it all over at Wayfair. And it can also help you out in a time crunch as well with really fast and free and hassle-free delivery. So give your home the refresh it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That is WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right. We're looking at games here for Tuesday. We've done 4 of them, so let's get into the next batch of games. Kings and the Bucks is the next game for us to take a look at here. We're in Milwaukee for this one. The Bucks are in a Schedule Plus spot. They've also a 2-point favorite in this game. Gary Trent, at the moment, the only player on the injury list. He is questionable. If he is out, it's more minutes for Big Boom AJ Green, a little bit more for Taurean Prince, and for most of us, it just doesn't really matter. On the Kings side of things, what do I want to watch? Oh, actually, revenge game. Jay Crowder versus DeLon Wright. Yeah. Remember when DeLon Wright played for the Kings? That feels like forever ago. Keegan Murray on the Kings is playing better of late, and I want to see whether that's able to continue. I want to see how Doug Christie continues to use the rotations and the minutes and the heavy starters load that he gave in the last one. Is that what he's going to do moving forward? We'll find out. On the Bucks, Chris Middleton, is he a 25-minute bench player? Is that the permanent role now? Because it's probably not enough to maintain 12-team value. In terms of stream guys, Keon Ellis remains the stream guy, even though he's looking at 20 minutes a night. There's steal value in there, much like with the Hong Kong mattress case and Wallace. And then Taurean Prince is your very, very, very weak stream. For the Bucks, we know he doesn't do much, but maybe you get a night where he has 9 points and 3 threes. That is just real double onyx, diamond, titanium, platinum league level stuff. Those leagues are already on top of that anyway, so they probably don't need to talk about it. The Nuggets taking on the Dallas Mavericks. That is the 6th game of the night. In terms of favoritism, the Nuggets are 6.5-point favorites here in this one, but we did get some interesting injury updates. Both Denver and Dallas, by the way, Schedule Plus positions for them. Vlatko Cancar is out for Denver. Luka and Dante Exum are out for Dallas, but Kyrie Irving is now questionable. Interesting. So that week-to-week stuff is done. So he's ready to come back, I guess. The Nuggets also chucked a few guys onto the injury report with probable tags. Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Julian Strouber. They just chucked them on right now, so I don't think there's any risk of those guys missing time. Now the Bucks have just ruled out Chris Middleton for rest. All right, so yeah, well, that's an easy drop. Like, we're not holding on to him. Like, if he's just going to miss random games and play limited minutes, you're not holding him. Like, see you later. All right, there you go. That just happened. There you go. Done. So frustrating. DeAndre Jordan revenge game spot. For the Nuggets, Russell Westbrook. The minutes are great. He continues to play well. I think Aaron Gordon is still going to be limited here, so Westbrook's minutes should be really strong, and he continues to look very good. For the Mavs, it's about how they run the Grimes, Dinwiddie, Marshall group, especially if Irving returns. I think all of them, I'd still probably look at Dinwiddie, but Grimes and Marshall just lose a bit if Kyrie is back, and want to see how that sort of plays out here. Peyton Watson looked to be a pretty good stream guy last time out, and maybe we do that again. And then Quentin Grimes is streamable on the Mavs. You could throw Marshall in there as well. But again, my level of confidence in how they're going to play all that stuff is not particularly super high. The final game of the day, the injury report for this one is a crazy one. It's Brooklyn. It is Portland. It is a double tank, crazy, ridiculous game. It's all over the shop. The Blazers are 7.5-point favorites. It's Schedule Plus spots for both of them. Maxwell Lewis is out. Cam Thomas is out. Trenton Watford is out. Bojan Bogdanovic is out. But because this is a first game of a back-to-back for Brooklyn, because this is against Portland, I'm very certain that D'Angelo Russell and Cam Johnson will not play. Very certain. I'll put them doubtful. Very certain they won't play. The question's going to be about Ben Simmons, because he's probably not going to play both Tuesday and Wednesday. So could he sit Tuesday? At the moment, I expect him to play Tuesday, sit Wednesday, but I don't know. Matisse Thybulle is going to be out for Portland, and because, like with Brooklyn, Portland is also playing a terrible team, I can see guys like Jeremy Grant, whose facial contusions just really, really ruined his season. I think that he doesn't play in this one either. Robert Williams is dealing with an illness. He's doubtful. And then DeAndre Ayton with a sore calf. I would put that probably closer to doubtful than questionable, but I'm not really sure on the Snowman. This is a revenge game spot for Keon Johnson. You might not remember. Keon Johnson used to play for the Blazers. I think, did he come across in the Norman Powell trade with the Clippers? He might have. Anyway, he was on the Blazers then, and now he's on the Nets, and he's got an opportunity. For the Nets, Noah Clowney. It was terrible last game. And you might ask, why is he not blocking shots? Maybe he can't do that. And that's a fair enough thing to ask. So I went and sort of dug into it to figure out what's going on here. Actually, he has the second highest shot contest rate on the Nets behind Claxton. Okay, right? His shot contest rate is higher than it was last season. Not bulk volume of contest, the contest rate. It's higher than last season. He just isn't converting any attempts in any contest into blocks. Last season, he converted them at about 16%. This season, 9%. So he's getting in position. He's going for them. He's just not doing it. Is that a skill thing? Probably part of it. Is that a weird thing that might revert? Don't know. But it's not that he's not attempting to block shots, because he is. They're just not happening. So I think that's something important to note. On the Blazers side of things, I do want to watch how they utilize Scoot Henderson, because there's been no evidence to suggest he's being utilized enough to be a 12-team must player. In terms of streams, I do like Ben Simmons and Donovan Clingan, given the potential absences of guys here. But that could go completely wrong very, very easily, very, very quickly. There's no question about that part of it anyway. Let's look at how the schedule does break out for a few little things here, back-to-backs and chunks and that sort of stuff. We'll just get into the back-to-backs. And there are a lot of teams that played Tuesday and Wednesday. 8 teams played Tuesday and Wednesday because there are 11 games on Wednesday. So these 8 teams all have that back-to-back. Now, you need to look at your individual fantasy roster to see whether you've got the open roster spots on Wednesday for these back-to-backs to actually make sense for you. So it's Atlanta, Brooklyn, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Milwaukee, New Orleans, and the Sixers. And the Milwaukee one there, you saw already that Middleton's sitting the first game of the back-to-back. So the fact that he's playing limited minutes and sitting the back-to-backs is why I'm out on that. You're going to have situations with Zion sitting one of these games, I'm guessing. Embiid is already out of one of them for the Sixers. Maybe Trey sits one with the Hawks. And this is, again, what we talked about with Simmons and Johnson and Russell with the Nets. A lot of these teams have back-to-back concerns. Yep, good. Let's look at the chunky plays. So over the next 5 days, that's Tuesday to Saturday, who plays 3 games? But understanding that some of these will include the 11-game Wednesday. But Andrew Nembhard, Donovan Clingan, Tamani Kamara, TJ McConnell, Yves Misi, Peyton Watson, all 40% or below rostered on Yahoo, who all I think I know they've got 3 games in the next 5 nights, and that could be very, very useful for you on your fantasy squad. In terms of 5s and 2s, so over the next 7 days, Tuesday through to Monday, is anyone got 5 games? Because we don't have to just abide by a calendar. No one's got 5 games, but Toronto has 2. So not that means a lot, but we know that Emmanuel Quickley's been ruled out of Monday's game, which is frustrating. So if you're considering, I'm going to go and add a Jamal Shed, or I'm going to look to what Chris Boucher's doing. Well, after Monday's game is over, it's 2 games, 7 nights. It's not going to be worth it for the vast majority of you in that particular situation. We'll come back for the streams of the day. But today's episode is brought to you by the Game Time app. I know that you guys love going to live events, sporting events, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever it is. Getting those live tickets is a great thing to do. But sometimes the process can be frustrating, and Game Time is here to try and fix that. And that's where they brought in Game Time Picks. Game Time Picks enables you to cut out the fluff. It shows you the good deals. You've got the views from your seat on there as well, so you can see exactly what you're going to be seeing. But the Game Time Picks shows you this is a good deal. Go and have a look at it. And then you make that decision, you get your tickets, and you go and have a good old-fashioned, jolly good time. That's what Game Time does. Plus, the all-in pricing on the app shows you the total cost up front instead of surprise fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Today's episode is also brought to you by Hungry Root. Holidays are over and you try to settle back into a good routine and back at work and back at school, but sometimes getting that grocery shopping and meal planning, it can be really hard to do, and especially to keep it going healthy and sticking to your health goals. Well, with Hungry Root, it can be an absolute game changer. It can be the easiest way for you to eat healthy without that stress. Hungry Root is like a personal shopper and a nutritionist all in one, taking care of your grocery shopping, recommending meals and groceries based on your taste and health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high protein to gluten-free options. And every meal that they suggest is ready in 15 minutes or less. Quick, healthy meals that taste great, all delivered straight to your door. You're going to love Hungry Root. So for a limited time right now, you can get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code LockedOnNBA. That is hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. The code is LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of choice for life. hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA. Don't miss out. Okay, so let's have a look at streaming now. The streams of the day for Saturday. No, Saturday. What am I talking about? Streams of the day for Tuesday. We go and start at 10-team category leagues. Ben Simmons, I am assuming that he plays. Maybe that's risky, but I assume that he plays. So I do like Simmons as a 10-team stream. I've got TJ McConnell there for 12s, Zaire Williams for 14s, and Patrick Williams for the deeper 16 and deeper leagues. And for Yahoo and ESPN points, Andrew Nembhard does project the best in most categories. I think he's probably being grabbed, but if he's not, he jumps to the top of this list as well. So let's look at the 10-team streams of the day. It's Simmons, Lonzo Ball, TJ McConnell, obviously really high assist guys there. Zaire Williams, Keon Johnson, and the Hong Kong mattress Cason Wallace is there as well. If we look at it from a 12-team league perspective, again, you can just look at that top list too, then move on to this one. Pat Williams, Peyton Watson, Royce O'Neal, Najee Marshall, Caris LeVert, and Aaron Wiggins. I would also put Gershon Yabusele in that list. He's going to appear on this deeper one, but because I didn't know Embiid was going to be out now, and now he is, so Yabusele moves up. For the deeper leagues, we go Tom Bryant, Max Strus, Vit Krejci with Jalen Johnson out, Ben Shepherd, Osa Iguodaro, and Tyrese Martin for that grouping. And then for Yahoo Points League streams, it's 6 names here: Andrew Nembhard, Ben Simmons, TJ McConnell, Zaire Williams, Keon Johnson, and Donovan Clingan. And lastly, it's ESPN Points Leagues: Nembhard, Simmons, McConnell, Clingan, Noah Clowney, and Zaire Williams. And that is the end of a preview show. For what day is it? Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, the Feast of the Arse. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button over here. Go ahead and like and comment and double bang and all that stuff, and have a good day. Just again, let's get a daily habit. Don't tear others down. Give yourself confidence. Give others confidence. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya. GTA 6 will come out on the 11th of November 2025.